Good morning. I'm Ahmed Elnaggar, and this is Monday Legal. My guest for today is Veronika Chastukhina, and she teach me how to pronounce her name today. Good morning, Veronika.
Good morning, Ahmed. Nice to see you.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
So I always ask all my guests the same question in the beginning. What's your morning drink? What's your coffee, maybe?
Okay, so not like all other lawyers on this market, I don't drink coffee every day. I drink it like once in 2-3 days, and it's soya coconut latte, tall or grande. But why do I drink it is not because of the energy which I need, but just for the flavor. And normally my morning drink is water.
Just water?
Just plain boiled water.
That's for health reasons?
Yeah, actually,
it's
good for your stomach.
Healthy routine.
It's a healthy routine.
Very good. So Veronika Chastukhina is general legal counsel for Whitewill Real Estate, one of the biggest real estate brokerage firms in the UAE, with offices here in Dubai and in Moscow.
Moscow, London, Miami,
Very good.
Abu Dhabi.
Amazing. That's the new office, right?
That's the new office.
Very good. How big is your firm in general? Like, how big is your team? Let's say you are the general legal counsel here in Dubai, and you're covering only the UAE, or you're covering a wider range?
So generally, in the beginning, I came to work in Dubai office, where we have 117 people.
Wow.
So I'm the only lawyer for them. And when we opened the office in Abu Dhabi, sure, they need like some advisors, and they don't have lawyer there yet. So I'm helping them from time to time, reviewing the contract, drafting and stuff, helping with the law. And I also work on the contracts for partners from Russia. So I'm working with the Moscow office, but it's like only for service agreements, something like that, for the partners who are bringing us clients, and we're paying them the percentage from the deal.
Very good. I would like that you explain to us your journey. How did you start in the law, and from law school, how did you end up in Dubai? So I want the whole journey in brief, but I want to know.
Okay, so I'm originally from Siberia, which is not Moscow and not St. Petersburg. Don't mix it up. As a kid, I always wanted to be an interior designer. My dad told me like that the main jobs, the main professions that time was world economy or law, so I was supposed to choose. And as my sister already chose world economy, and I really didn't like math, I was like, okay, probably the law, but I was not excited about this. So when I started like my journey in the university, which is also the university in Siberia, I actually got extremely excited about like different subjects, especially first year. So my first year, all of my grades were like top grades because I was very interested in this. I visited all the lectures, like even some exams I didn't come, so they gave me the automatic 100% because I was coming for the lectures and I was answering to the questions and stuff, and it was very interesting. And as a professional swimmer, I have like the tendency to stay at the same place for as long as I need and study, write down, and I write down very fast. So it was like really cool for me, and I really loved it. But at the second grade, we had this one of the family law subject, and at the exam, I don't know why, but the teacher, she didn't want to give me a good mark, and I asked her why, because I answered to all the questions you asked me, and she said, do you want to come for the next round? Like, you didn't pass. And I said, no, I don't want to come to the next round. She's like, okay, I will give you C, so C is also a good mark. And after that, I became a little bit not happy about the uni, but like, I had my favorite subjects was criminology, criminalistic, and criminal law. So we had like 3 subjects. This is for the bachelor degree.
Yeah.
So in Russia, you have all the subjects in 4 years. It's not like UK or US bar or any other jurisdiction. So in Russia, you study everything.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I thought I will be someone in criminal law. So every single year at summer, you need to go and do the internship somewhere where you choose police, court, anything, notary. So I always chose the same court as a criminal court. And I spent like 1 month each year. Otherwise, you cannot pass for the next year if you don't do this internship, and you need to have like legal documents confirming that you were doing that. So I thought like it was really cool, but I started to join the hearings, and all the hearings were about the people who were selling drugs, keeping drugs, using drugs. And it was a bit scary because like we have a proper cage there, and you sit at the back of the seat, and there is a person from this side behind the cage, and like looking very, very terrible, like terrifying.
Criminal-like.
Yeah, very criminal-like. And for instance, there is like his family members there, or his wife, or I even had like the most scary moment in my life there. So at one hearing, there was a woman with a small kid, maybe 3 months old. So baby was constantly crying. And during the break, I went to the corridor, and she came out and she's like, "Oh, I see you here all the time. Please tell to the judge that my husband is not guilty." And I said, "I'm just on an internship. So yes, I'm here all the time, but I'm on an internship. So I know the judge, but just for studies. I'm still in the university." So she was like trying to convince me, and I said, "Listen, I'm so sorry, but I cannot help you." And then she told me, "Oh, by the way, I need to go to the bathroom. Can you please hold my child?" And at that point, like all different stories, like different ideas passed my mind, and I was like, what if she'll give me the kid and she will just run away and will leave me with this child, you know? So this like thought crossed my mind, and I was so scared. It was like crazy. So okay.
What did you do?
I took the kid, she went to the bathroom, but I was standing next to the door of the bathroom, and I was like, what if she will go outside of the window because it's a ground floor? And I was looking around, where's the security, you know? And I was like, oh my God, and I'm holding this baby. And
That's probably when your brain started to be a lawyer.
Yeah.
You're putting all the possibilities.
Yeah, and the kid was so cute, and he actually smelled like milk, like very cute baby. But I was so scared, and it took her long. She came out after like 20 minutes or so. But when she came out, I was like, oh my God. Okay, I gave the kid back, and after that I didn't talk to anyone who ever tried to talk to me, like from these people who are visiting the court hearings and stuff. So yeah, and at some point I realized that I will not be able to do this. So psychologically it's not for me, and I feel bad for their families, and I know that this is a criminal, and I feel bad for the judge, and it's like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
So, but I was still doing it because I enjoyed it, but as a job, as my profession, future profession, I couldn't think that I will do that. So when I finished the university, I moved to, I was like a junior lawyer at it's automotive company. So they had, by that time, 3 car sales centers in the whole Altai region. So there were 11 car brands, and they were the only dealers. So they were, the whole dealership was on them. And I studied in a small team, me and another like a senior lawyer. But luckily her mom was a judge in the court. So whenever we had any questions, we were calling her mom. Okay. And it was interesting. I spent almost like every second week in the court, being just 21-year-old and going for the hearings. First I was going with the senior lawyer, and then she's like, okay, now it's your time, like try do it. I was very scared the first time. I was like, representing our company, and I didn't know how, like talking correctly. I was scared I will forget something because I wrote everything down for myself, and I was repeating it constantly, like this and that and that. But it was interesting because like it helped me to a little bit release and relax and try to talk to people. And we didn't lose even one case. We lost only one case, but we won in the appeal. Okay. And we were only 2 ladies in that team. After that, I moved to Dubai. But I moved because my sister was already living here, and she asked me if I want to try. But I've been here many times, even when I was a kid, because my father was doing a lot of business and he was coming to Dubai, so I knew the place. And I couldn't find anything, even though I already had an experience, and I was almost 24 years old when I came here. So I sent my CV everywhere, but I don't have any experience in like international experience. I have only experience in Russia. And every time somebody was contacting me, they were like, you are 24 and you already worked for 3 years. What are you talking about? Because usually people graduate much later. Yeah. But in Russia, it's like this. You graduate when you're 21. Yeah. So it was very hard. And one of our family friends, he helped me to get an internship at Afridian Angel. Afridian Angel is the first legal firm in UAE, it's the oldest one. Really, really nice, like a setup of like a family setup. So when you join them, you feel like you are in a family member. And I was told that because I don't have a US or UK bar, I can only be a paralegal. So I started as a paralegal, no problem. It was very interesting in the beginning because I didn't know anything, and I was mostly concentrating on opening offshores and assisting the clients who had the construction arbitration. So like doing due diligence, looking for the proofs and everything, looking for something in the law. So I was working with associates and the partners. But then there was one idea which crossed my mind that one of the partners, he's from Iran, and I said, like, at that time, there was a little bit of an issue, so I said, why don't we try to do the second passports for the Iranian clients? So I, by myself, found the company in St. Kitts and Nevis, and it was the investment in sugar industry. So you pay $400,000, you get passport for your wife and 3 children, so 5 passports. And it was a good idea, we did it, and I was like, I was expecting something.
Which year was that?
2012.
Okay, so that's quite early in the
2012.
citizenship by investment programs.
Yeah, I found it actually online. Just Google it.
Okay.
That's the main thing. And I was expecting like to move somewhere, you know, so maybe I'm working well, I'm doing a lot of good things. And when I joined, we had like 5 paralegals. And by the time when I resigned, we were only 2 for the whole firm. So I was headhunted by Hayes. It's a recruitment agency.
Yeah.
And the next company I moved in was in-house, first of all. Secondly, it was like extremely interesting field where I never worked before. So it was a telecom investment in Sub-Saharan Africa. And in our portfolio, there were 11 different companies in different Sub-Saharan African countries. So I was working only, like, the team was small. It's my boss. His name is Stuart Andrew Simpson. He is the best boss on the planet Earth. Like, I learned so much from him. He has an extreme high level of intelligence. His memory is like photographic memory. So when we were sitting at the meeting for 2 hours, like shareholders meeting somewhere in Uganda, he remembered everything word to word. So when there was minutes of the meetings coming from the secretary, company secretary, he was like, actually, he also said this and that and this and that. And I was like, wow, how can you remember all of that? So yeah, so I think this was my crucial moment because first 6 months when I joined the company, I was sitting in front of my laptop and I was eating in front of my laptop and I was like coming at 9 and I need to finish at 6, but I was finishing like at 8. So this was a massive amount of information which I got, and like I was supposed to get to know everything, every single structure, how it works. So learn everything myself. I didn't know anything about Sub-Sahara, about the laws and everything. So I did everything by myself, self-learn, self-studies.
Can you please maybe give us an example on what kind of work, what's the nature of work that you did in Sub-Saharan Africa?
Okay, so first of all, we were on top of all the board of directors in each and every company. So in each and every subsidiary we had. Doing the business there, I mean, we didn't check their contracts with suppliers or whomever. They worked only a few times when we were putting the cable in one of the Sub-Saharan African countries underground. And suddenly we received the note that it's not going, like there is no connection. So we started to investigate, and basically the monkeys ate the cable in some of the forests. So that's one of the cases. Another time, the government decided to put the road in one spot, so they didn't check and decided to dig, and they just broke all the cables which were underground. So that. Next time, our licenses were nationalized by one of the governments, but they didn't pay us, even though by law they were supposed to pay us the specific amount of money. So we filed the court case and we won. So it was like the court case against the government. Mm-hmm. We won, but because this country, I think, doesn't have so much money, I'm not sure what's happening right now, but by the time I left the company, it was still ongoing. So they first told us, yes, we're gonna pay you. It was $400 million. Mm-hmm. But I don't think they have this money. I don't know if they have it by now, but they didn't attempt, and they transferred about 40 million to some strange bank account, and they said, oh, and it bounced back. And they said we transferred like as a pre-start of what we can do in tranches and installments. And we were like, this is not our bank account. And they were like, oh, something. So it started to go around. So this kind of, it's very interesting. Very interesting and very challenging, I would say. I was flying to sub-Saharan African countries and had the meetings with the shareholders, and sometimes it was dangerous. And it was dangerous on the border, it was dangerous at the meetings. I don't know if I can mention.
It is what it is.
Like the shareholder had a gun and he put it on the table in front of me.
Oh wow, that's level of intimidation.
And he said, I only want to speak to the CEO. So we got up and we left, but it was very intense because I was the only woman in the whole team. And I think after that, you cannot be scared of anything. So it was really cool, really nice, really interesting. But then I decided at some point to get married, which was not a good idea. And
disclaimer.
Disclaimer, I confess. So I moved to Belgium because my ex-husband, he's French, but he lives in Brussels. All the business he's doing is like from them. And when I moved to Belgium, it was August 2019, I started to look for the job or something in law, and I was told that I cannot get any job because in Belgium, same as in Netherlands, they don't accept any degree and they cannot do the conversion course, so you need to study again for 4 years. And that was not my idea of life. So first I didn't know what to do, and then there was a very small restaurant, brasserie, in the building not far from where I lived. And I was like, okay, this looks cool. I talked to the owners, this was a married couple, and they said that we are trying to sell it because it's not their business. She was a teacher at school and he was some mechanical, whatever. So they didn't want to have it, and they were only open during the lunchtime, that's it. And it's next to the governmental organization, so everybody comes for the lunch to that spot. You can actually make very good money for that. So I was like, yeah, how much do you want to sell it? And they told me the price was very cheap. And I said, okay, I will take it. So I bought the restaurant. I bought a shelf company and I bought the restaurant, so I connected them. The main problem was not like here. People don't want to get an official contract. They want to receive, it's called chômage. It's the payment when you're not working. So you receive a specific amount from the government. So what they say, I would like to work with you, but can you not sign me officially and you will pay me they will pay him chômage and you pay me cash. Okay, this is problem number one, because one day I came to the restaurant and all the people who were supposed to be serving, they didn't come. And I had chef, sous chef, and at one day I served alone 70 people. 70 people.
Wow.
By myself. The only thing I didn't do, I didn't cook. The rest, so now even when I remember about this, I was like, wow, how did I do it? Being a lawyer, I don't know.
Actually, I think lawyers have some kind of superpowers. They can do anything at any time. You just have to decide, plan for it, and do it.
Yeah, because you know what I realized, for instance, I was extremely fast, which is what I'm doing right now. I'm very fast with my work. And I was taking an order, I was putting it in the machine so it goes down. I straight away know which drinks to make. I go to the bar, I make all the drinks, I take this, I give it, somebody comes to pay, I take payment. And I remembered everything, even each number of the table, because in the system you have the numbers, but you don't have the numbers on the tables. So I remembered all of that and I was super fast. And I think, it's the legal mindset.
Was it a good detachment or a good period? How long was that? How many?
Oh, okay, yeah. So what happened as I bought it in 16th of October 2019. And then in February, there was the first lockdown.
Yes.
And then there was one more lockdown. But what I really appreciate about the government of Belgium, even though I didn't have yet, they didn't give me the residency, but I was already paying taxes for the employees and everything. They were paying me really good chômage, really good payment because they shut down my business. So I could cover with this money the rent for the restaurant. I had money to cover the rent for my apartment where I stayed because my ex-husband, he lost the possibility to do any business because everything was shut. So we basically lived on my investment. Not very smart. No, I mean, it covered everything.
Yeah.
And then when we reopened, because we reopened twice after the first lockdown, it was a massive reopen. I got the DJ. People were dancing on the tables. We allowed them to dance on the table. So it was packed. It was packed every single day. Everyone was super happy that they can finally sit outside, drink, eat, whatever. Then there was second lockdown. And after that, it was summer. So there was like football matches and stuff. And you can rent a huge TV screens there. So, and you get all the connections for free. All the connections to all the TV channels.
Cable TV.
So it was massive, and it gave a really good money. Like, it was a good investment. Okay, it was hard. I was working from 8 in the morning until 2 o'clock at night, 6 days a week, non-stop. And I was wearing the same clothes, black jeans and black t-shirt and black sneakers, which is not me. But at the end of the day, it was good investment. It brought me a good money, even though I didn't know anything about this from the start, but I learned. I YouTubed everything, I Googled things, I learned how to do any drinks you want. I can make if you want coffee, I'll do it. I can even serve it. Yeah, and then when I sold it, I also I sold it much higher price than I bought it. So it was good, tough, but interesting, good experience. And after that, I moved back to Dubai. And first, it was a bit tough because I came back during Ramadan, and then it was summer. So it was a little bit tough to...
I think we met at that point.
Yeah, we met at that point, exactly, right before, I think before Ramadan started,
yes.
Something like that.
Yeah.
So it was a bit tough, even though I know so many people here and I have a big experience, but I don't know, maybe it was just like, I believe in faith. So I believe what's supposed to happen with you, it will happen. So I got a job in one company, I will not say the name, also through the headhunters and stuff, but they didn't want to sign my contract. They said they don't want to be exposed. And it's not Russian people, it's the people from another country. They said they don't want to be exposed. I said, but you're already exposed because your name is in the license of the company. Everybody knows that you have this company. So they were dragging here and there, and they were like, we were gonna pay you cash. I said, listen, I want to be official here. I need Emirates ID, I need bank account, I need to bring my things from Belgium. So yeah, and I worked for them for like a few months, but then no, and I found the job where I'm working right now via LinkedIn. I was contacted there in July, and then I started to work with them officially in December, 8th of December. So it's a real estate, broker's real estate company. It's created by only one very smart person who is very young. I'm not gonna say the age, but it's, I believe, like, coming from a very small city in Russia, he did a tremendous thing, and he started with a super small office in Moscow, and now he's huge. So that's my story. Now I'm working there, and I really enjoy it. But it's mostly like target of Russian clients.
And maybe you can tell us a little bit about what kind of work you do there. I mean, all the real estate brokerage firms as designated non-financial business and professions, they kind of have their own, I don't know, compliance obligations, and they have, it is also a business that is regulated by the Real Estate Regulatory Agency. And so I think, are you taking care of these two aspects, plus all the legal work that you have to do internally for 117, 120 people in Dubai?
Well, basically, when I joined them, they didn't have any legal support. They didn't have an HR. So every single question related to anything related to the law, it's Veronika. Veronika, we have how to do this and that in HR. How to do this and that okay, real estate is one thing. Check got bounced, what should I do? How to complain to the police? Any question at all related to everything, medical, whatever, because they didn't know anything. They started fresh. And they were trying to be compliant, and even with AML, so they hired still we have a company which is assisting us in all the reports and everything. But when the time came to some questions from the governmental organizations, you remember that, they came to me, so I started to look at the law as well to check, okay, what do we need to do? But we have designated people who are doing the KYCs. we keep everything. We have one person who she did the training here, so she had a certificate for that, and she's doing this work. But every single time there is a question that comes to me related to anything and everything. Even, for instance, we had some issue in the office, the electronic system in the wall, somebody stopped working and they said there was a leakage and stuff. So somebody signed the document saying, yeah, okay, but they didn't check, actually there was water on one of our employees. And I said, did you see there was water, did you? She's like, oh, I just signed, I didn't even read it. And it was an inspection. And I said, listen, how you can... So I was involved in this case as well. So
I guess all the ins and outs of the operation itself.
Everything
okay.
For it related to internal stuff and everything related to every single complaint of every single client.
How does that work? I mean, how 120 people be
17.
covered by 117 people? I mean, it's quite a big operation, and having only one lawyer covering all the questions from management, mid-level, and then the
brokers
staff,
and clients.
Brokers and clients is quite a heavy work. How do you get to manage this on your own?
Okay, so basically, as I told you already from my experience, you saw that I switched from automotive to corporate to telecom investment to restaurant business, and now I'm in real estate. I'm a genius.
Of course.
So. I think, first of all, I have a very big experience. Secondly, as I told you, I worked with big people. Like, I would say in Afridi, Shahram Safai, the partner whom I was in his team, he is like more business-oriented person, and he has a very sharp mind. So you can pitch from this person. And then in another company, Stuart, my previous boss, he taught me to be more in details and not just to when somebody asks me a question, I don't say, oh, if the answer is there on the surface, I will say, this is the answer. But if it's tricky, I always say, okay, I need an agreement, I need all the emails, I need whatever documents confirming that they paid for this, that. And until I look at all of this, I don't give the answer.
Well, what I was asking about was not about the quality of your work or how smart you are. I understand this very well. What I mean is the time, the capacity. Do you have capacity to handle all these? How many inquiries do you get per day, for example?
It depends on the season.
Okay.
So right now it's going to be a low season. Right now I have a lot of work before lunch. And after lunch is here and there, and brokers, they tend to call you after your working hours because their working hours are different from mine. They're not office employees. They work as the client works, because we're also now working with Miami, and we have clients from Miami, and they call in overnight, so they can text you. But I made sure that I don't reply after my working hours. Otherwise, I will not have time to, rebalance my life. But during the high seasons, which starts from September and going, I would say, up till April, I work from 9 until 6. I have a lunch break of 15 minutes, 20 minutes. And that's it, and I work non-stop. But I work fast. And I cover everything. I try to work in a way that I don't have anything left for the next day. Or if I have something for the next day, I already know what it is. So I briefly looked at it. So I marked and was like, okay, this and this and this and that. So in advance, I know, okay, I need to look at this and that stuff here. And all the contracts, for instance, the SPAs right now, or Forms F, I know them by heart.
Yes.
So I know the main points I need to look at. I don't need to look at all of this draft. I know where, depends on the question, I know where to look. So I straight away scroll there, okay, this, okay, maybe something on this part. So...
Let me ask you this, I'm sorry to cut you.
Yeah, it's okay.
Is it uncommon that real estate brokers have an in-house lawyer? Here in Dubai, I'm talking.
I think usually there is a team.
There must be a big team for,
there must be a big,
especially with this big size.
The bigger you get, the more people you need. But what I also know from my previous work, it doesn't matter how many employees you have. If they all don't do their work properly, you are out of this business. So you need few who are quick, smart, has the knowledge. They don't need to be with a degree from Oxford or something. They can have like, they might be not very experienced, but you see in them like they're driving how they work. So they're picking things. And I think if you have few smart like people like that, you will be on top, because every single client is calling me. I helped one client. They knew that it was me, and they're texting me and saying, you helped this person, they gave me your number out of our company. So I'm not only working there, I also have some clients who calls the broker and said, can we please talk to your lawyer?
I understand. One of the things that I find it really remarkable in this business is that real estate brokers, to be able to practice, they get some training, which is mandatory.
Yes.
And I think they have to renew this training every few years.
The RERA broker card.
Exactly. So based on this, they have the code of ethics, they have the transactions itself, they have a lot of things that they have to learn and understand. And a lot of it is derived from the regulations, which is the law. And also having lawyers assisting them in their companies. Why do we see in the market so many brokers giving a wrong legal advice to their clients? Because this is very common. We have seen it. I speak all the time with litigation lawyers, and we understand that real estate brokers many times give wrong advice.
Yeah, this is actually also my question to the brokers.
Okay.
So
I thought you're closer to them. You would know.
In my company, there are like some brokers who are constantly working with me on different questions. So if they have any problem, or they know or they think there can be some problem, they come to me and they talk to me. But I was also facing like a lot of clients who didn't close the deals with our companies in like 2021. They closed with some other brokers, and they actually don't even know what they bought or on which conditions. And then now it's a big problem, and they are telling me, yes, the broker told me this and this and this and that. And I'm thinking, how could the broker tell this and this and this and that if in their education, like their studies, when I joined the company, I asked them to send me the slides with what are they supposed to know. It's 400 slides. I went through all of the slides from RERA. So I know everything they're supposed to know. So I'm like, if they ask me something and I know that it was there, I'm like, my first answer is, but you must know it. And then I smile and I answer to that question. So, but I think because the market was so fast, especially during this invasion and the problem between Ukraine and Russia and stuff, the people, they started to fly here with money, and they want to invest anywhere, somewhere. They want to save their life, they want to save their investment, they want to settle down. So that time it was very easy. The clients will come in to the office, let's say real estate office, or the agent called them. But that time I didn't work in real estate, I lived in Belgium. So they come and they say, please help me to buy something on this amount of money. I don't know what, land, apartment, building, anything, please. So they didn't read the contracts, nothing, they just signed, and all these problems are dragging from 2021. What I'm facing right now, a lot from 2021. So, and I think because it was like a hype, and brokers were just trying to make money, take like commission. So they grew a lot. And what I like about the company where I work, we have a lot of brokers who are telling me, I'm not gonna take this, we're not gonna sell this project. I said, why? They said, this is a very bad investment, and we don't want our client to come back and say, this company sold me this. I would not say the word.
Yeah.
And what should I do right now? I cannot sell it. I cannot rent it out. It's no go. Construction is not moving. It's not a good developer. We're actually not working with some of developers. The ones who showed themselves as not liable, we stopped working with them. Mm-hmm. Because in our company, and the owner of our company, he is very keen on the comfort of the client. We're always trying to help the clients. So we are not getting involved in such kind of deals, but I know a lot of other deals from another companies, and I even visited recently the DLD to discuss this as well, who sold something which doesn't exist, or it was built on completely another plot, or it didn't even start, or the money went not to the escrow account but to the corporate account of the developer, and it's still ongoing, and they were not registered with a code, they were not registered with DLD, they have nothing, and they're still paying the installments, and they dare to tell them, oh, you missed this installment, if you will not pay it right now, you'll get a fine.
Yes, we've seen this repeated many times. So from your perspective, it's not only the brokers, it's the policy and the strategy of the company itself where
Definitely,
it does the brokerage.
100%. Because for instance, for us, we have people on top because we do the sale and purchase off plan, secondary market, and we also do the rent. So we had people on both ways, like the top managers who work with them. Then each broker, we have a team of brokers. So there's a top broker, let's say 6 or 7 people in his team, and they all get training. Every single week on Friday and Thursday, we have meetings. Like, I mean, I'm not involved in that, but I see this because it's happening in our office. So it's broker meetings with the team leader. Then they discuss the project, they discuss the work for like 2 hours.
To qualify which projects are they going to sell?
And to qualify their work. And
okay.
you know, they discuss and say, okay, for example, you were amazing, and for you, you know, you need to pay more attention to this and that. So they do this every single week. Plus, we have the chief operational officer, a very nice woman, and she also gathers them as well, and she's giving them like examples, trainings. She's doing training. So I actually also participate in the trainings because I do all the legal stuff, the whole shebang for her slides, or I do the slides, everything related to the law, even for Jaira, Ras Al Khaimah, because we started to sell there as well. So I also do like everything related to how can you sell there, what are the regulations, what are the regulations in Abu Dhabi, here, everything. So she can combine it and she can give them the proper training as well, extras, you know, so they will know more. And this is happening every single week. So this is like, we are concentrating on the quality of work.
I'm really impressed. I'll tell you very honestly, I did not have, I did not think that you put so much attention on the quality of information that is given to the clients. And my perspective, or what I've seen in the market for so long, is that maybe a big, huge percentage of the real estate brokerage companies, they do not care about anything else other than closing deals, making commissions, and that's it. And hearing it from you right now, this is a really nice eye-opener.
Yeah, but this is all based on our owner of the company. So this is his idea, this is his strategy, and this is the direction he wants to move. I mean, we're looking.
Right.
The doors are open. We have brokers, newcomers, but we also have like the brokers who were there from the beginning, and they are closing the massive deals. Yeah. Like I told you, my colleague Irina, she's the best broker, and she's closing the massive deals.
Yeah, I would like to know more about like the relationship between the legal counsel of the company and a broker like Irina, what you mentioned her name right now. How does your relationship, a professional relationship, work? I mean, how often do you talk? Every time she has a deal, for example, or every time she has a problem for one of her clients? The communication between both of you, how does it work?
So basically, our brokers, they don't work from the office. They're always somewhere doing, like they're showing their apartments and going for trainings, whatever, presentation stuff. But every single day, we have a shift for the brokers. There's a specific amount of them to stay on the ground and receive the calls, answer the calls if they receive like information from whatever clients. They call them, they explain what are new projects, what they're interested to buy and stuff. So they have shifts every single day, and some of them even have shifts at night, like I told you, because we're working with Miami, so some of them are working at night. But it's by them. If they want to, sure, nobody forced them, but they do.
Just to make it clear, yeah. Working with Miami means selling the UAE?
Yes.
Okay, great, okay.
Yeah, clients in
good to know.
clients in Miami buying in UAE.
Yes.
Which is very good. But we also like selling there, but there we have brokers there for this. But for UAE sale,
yes,
they are calling our brokers. So we have 3 offices in one floor. So first I was in the office, it's like back office, where all the accountant, admin, finance, they were all there. It's a very small office. And at some point I felt like it's too claustrophobic for me. And actually the brokers were a bit shy to come and talk to me. So there was a bit of a distance, like I was kind of scared of me or something. Because every time I come to the meeting, I solve everything, and they're like, okay, you know. So I decided to move to the big office where we have brokers who are doing these calls and everything. So they became more open. And while I'm working there, I have my headphones. I don't know if I say the brand when I switch off the sound, so I cannot hear them. they're coming to me non-stop during the day with different questions. Just like, can I talk to you? Okay, sit down, boom. There's that small questions, big questions, questions related to contracts, everything. So they became more open and they're like more comfortable to communicate, and it's actually better for their work and it's more interesting for me. So
yeah,
I can see them. I can see them on the ground.
What is from your experience, what is the most common repeated question that everybody come to you with a problem or with a question that the brokers would need help with internally?
Oh, there are a lot of common questions.
Okay. Give us, I don't know, top 3.
The problem with the developer.
Okay, that developer.
Off-plan SPAs.
Yeah, okay.
All the time questions related to additional terms and conditions to Form F, because we want to be precise that this will not go in a wrong way, wrong direction. And nowadays I have actually a lot of questions related to the rent and eviction. Eviction, I think, is the question number 1. Yes. And 10 times I repeat the same thing and I'm like, why you still didn't remember that this works like this? That the eviction notice is not working from the day you received it, but from the end of your contract.
Yeah.
And they're like, why they stay? Why this person is refusing? I said, if the tenant knows the law, he will not move out. And he will be right. But if he doesn't know the law, maybe he will move out. But we have an extremely good option, which also our shareholder created, the owner of the company. When we really need some property, and we do the upgrades. We buy a lot on the Blue Waters, and we do total upgrade. He needs the person to move out from this property. So what he generously suggests to pay a specific amount of money to them, so they can rent something else.
So it's kind of a fair...
And move out before the notice is lapsing,
Fair compensation
and everybody is happy.
So it's an amicable deal. That's aside from the law.
Because after you do the renovation, after you do the whole shebang, you change everything, the price becomes...
much better.
Much higher. So you don't lose from proposing the tenant in a nice way. This is the money, please rent something, and you actually make money on that.
Right.
It helps you to make more money.
That's actually a very smart way.
And everybody's happy, and then they actually contact us, maybe help us to rent something else and this. So it's a good connection with people. So it's like very pleasant, no negativity, this kind of stuff.
One question I would like to understand from you, I know you're not administratively involved in that because someone else in your team is doing it, but I'm pretty sure you have been involved in writing or making the decisions for it. How do you accept your clients? How do you onboard them?
Oh, there's the whole KYC process. Yes. So basically the compliance is number 1 thing here, and any business you do, you must be compliant.
Yeah.
So you definitely need to check the source of funds. This is number 1. And I will tell you, a lot of clients, they're saying, why should I provide a source of funds? Because in 2021, I didn't provide anything.
Yeah.
Or somebody asked me, or somebody else filled this form for me. So we are trying to be like very nice with them, but we are telling them that if this form will not be filled in, there will be no deal. We cannot close it because, there is a fine from the government. And we need to stay clean. And I think that UAE is trying to be as clean as possible, and not even like with the laws they implemented, and everything is so easy. Like when I went through the AML and I saw like what do you need to do, different examples, forms, whatever. So actually you just need to sit down, check everything, do it. It's not a rocket science. It's not like, okay, easy, I will like reading a book. But some books, like I told you today, I'm not very interested, so it's tough, but you must read them. But this one, you just need to be involved, learn once, do the internal, like thoroughly, the whole investigation and all this thing, and then it becomes easy for you. So you already know what, why, how, and the explanation to the client will be also easier. So we are working on this. If somebody has a question, they come to me again asking me like, okay, what can be done, and if there will be we need to provide some documents for the proof. I was like, okay, this you can do this or that. If he's working as an employee, okay, provide a certificate from your work or something, this kind of documents. Plus, you need to remember that if you work with the same client after 1 year, you have to do it again.
Yes.
If you
The
sell or
ongoing.
rent or whatever, you need to do it again
Yeah.
and again. So that, and actually I wanted to mention, like, now became a very common question here. We have a new law in Russia that the Russian tax resident cannot close the deal with another Russian tax resident in any other currency than Russian rubles.
It's a very interesting update.
Yes. So basically, when we are closing the deals here, so for example, I'm not a tax resident because I live more than 183 days
Yeah.
outside of Russia.
Yeah.
So I'm tax resident of UAE. But we have clients who surely doesn't have bank accounts here and they just want to buy the property, invest for the future, for their children, stuff. And they're both tax residents in Russia.
In this case, they have to do the transaction in Russian rubles.
Yes. So what's happening? The only way out, like when you draft the Form F, surely you will pay 4% DLD here and you will pay trustee fee here.
Yeah.
You can be present or your POA can come. But in the additional terms and conditions, you need to write, and this is what you do the exchange of the money in Russian. On the Russian, because you cannot exchange it here. I mean, you will not bring millions of rubles here. First, you cannot cross the border with this money.
Yes.
You cannot take them out. You are allowed to transfer the money from Russian bank to international bank, but it's limited. It's very limited. It's like $4,000 or something like that per day. So how much is it going to take you to take this money out and pay the exchange rate and stuff?
Well, how does that work with the trustee offices? Because they kind of need also proof for the transaction happening. If there is a manager's check exchange or there is a bank transfer happening, how do they make this checking?
So definitely there will be no manager check. It's impossible. And also the seller and the purchaser, they write down the statement that yes, I paid and yes, I received this money in Russia. So like this, because they cannot bring the money out.
Understood.
So it's a little bit complicated right now.
Yeah.
But it's doable, it's workable.
But if one of them is non-tax resident in Russia, then the
it's not
transaction
a problem.
can happen. Okay.
So the main thing, it should be you are not tax resident in Russia and the bank account from which you are paying is not a Russian bank. Like I can buy a property here with the Russian tax resident, and I can pay here. Mm-hmm. We can close the deal here.
Yeah.
So it's not a problem.
Possible.
Yeah.
Okay.
But this became a bit tough, and it's getting tougher and tougher. And now when you come to the country, you need to declare that you're not tax resident anymore. If you will not declare, you will be fined. And it's a criminal case right now.
Of course.
So
we're gonna go deeper with the questions, and I will put you on the corner. You must have seen this a lot. We heard in the market that there's a lot of real estate transactions happening in crypto.
okay.
So I would like to have your comment on that. Have you seen this, and how does these transactions happen?
I was not involved in any crypto transaction, but I know that people who have they work with cryptocurrency. This is the only option for them to transfer the money. Mm-hmm. How does it happen? You want to know the
I would
answer?
love to.
There are some companies here who can issue a manager check on your behalf.
That's not really a black and white transaction. This is a little bit over gray.
Yes, so it's called conveyancing companies.
Yes.
So they also have cryptocurrency crypto wallet. So we just call it, in Russian we call it crypto.
I understand.
So the people transfer the money from it's a clean money, I'm saying, because like it's not.
I mean, this is the obligation of the conveyancing company.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they transfer the money via crypto because they don't have bank accounts here or something like this, or then the conveyancing company issuing a manager check, but they take surely the percentage for their work.
Yeah.
What I don't like is that some of the conveyancing companies, and I saw the license, don't have the activity to do this, but they somehow doing this.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, some of
and for me, it's very strange because, like, even in Europe, when I was transferring my money to Europe when I moved there and to buy the company, I specifically did it via the lawyer in Belgium. So my money came from Dubai bank account to the lawyer there, and then from the lawyer to my new bank account in Belgium. So the government can see that this is a clean
escrow deal that is
Yes.
done by the book,
So
but it's not.
that's what I suggest. I think they need to use more legal firms rather than some conveyancing companies, and I think it can be your new line of business.
I totally agree with you. We have been doing this for many years, doing qualifying, agreeing, checking these deals, and we do escrow from time to time, or even it's very simple and easy to do, but there's a lot of legal checking behind it to make sure that source of wealth, source of funds, the whole deal is real, is not just a financial transaction rather than a real estate deal. But yeah, we spoke a lot about the regulations internally in the brokerage company where you work, the relationships between you and the brokers, and what mistakes and what they learn, and so on and so forth. But from the real estate investments, or let's say from the end client perspective, have you seen any strange ideas or wrong understanding to the law or to the regulations? What is the most common mistake that investors or clients come up with and that affects your work?
Okay, so surely yes. The answer is yes. First of all, nobody mostly reads the SPA and they trust the broker. So a lot of people have an idea that if they bought an apartment and then they invested the money, they can quickly resell it while it's still off plan, even though the contract says you can resell it after 40% completion.
Yeah.
40% payment, sorry, not completion. So 40 or 30%, it's just market practice. And then they're telling me, oh, but now I cannot resell it. I said, yeah, but you didn't complete your payments to receive an NOC from the developer to resell it, so in general you cannot resell it. And they're like, but I was told. I said, no, you were told one thing, but whatever is written in your contract is completely another thing. Number one. Number two, when they're buying something off plan with the ROI to come after, that's going to be rented out. They say, oh, during the campaign, it says ROI will be 7 or 8%. I said, this is impossible. ROI cannot be 7 or 8%. This is a lot of money. And they're like, yeah, so now we received the payment from the developer, but this is this amount and that. And I'm looking at the contract. And it doesn't say at all anything about the percentage you're going to receive. Or there's completely different amount. And it said, it's written over here. You cannot sue. You signed this. You signed this contract. Yeah, but the other broker in the seller, like the broker from the developer who was marketing this, they told me. I said, it doesn't matter what they told you. You need to read the contract. I don't understand English. I say, right now we have iPhone. You open Google Translate. You put your phone above it, and it translates any English, any language to any other language you want.
True.
Straight away there. So, or you can just translate it and read for the days. Nobody asking you when they're saying like, yeah, but they were pushing, they gave me the contract and they said you need to sign it now. I said, no, you have a right to say I'm gonna take this amount of days, I need to read it, and then you can sign it. Nobody forcing you to this.
Yeah, it's amazing because real estate as an investment is one of the safest, that everybody is so comfortable to do it. So and especially, as you said, people who don't speak the language or coming from a different nationality or whatever, they come here to invest in real estate. They meet the broker or the developer, which sales guys or the marketing.
Yeah, they believe the person
and they believe them blindly.
Yes.
However, it's one of the biggest investments anybody does. So you put a lot of money in it. Sometimes I don't understand, why do they not do enough studying or enough reading, investigation? Why don't they get proper legal advice to understand the consequences of signing these agreements before? And this is something that I always tell to all the investors who are coming here in the UAE, even who are living here for a while and they're buying their own first home, or they're buying their own first investment in real estate. Signing the agreement is a very big obligation that can stay with you, and sometimes it's like 20 years when you go into a mortgage and so on. I know people who are even working in the legal field, they don't read the mortgage, they don't read the mortgage contract, they don't read the SPA, and they just read the small forms, and they go ahead and sign and get into the relationship. And when any small thing happen, they go back and they go back to someone like you.
It's your fault, or they say it's your fault.
I bought it through you. You should have told me that.
Then the other thing, which is like very common when you give the deposit, it's usually non-refundable for off-plan. And they're saying, I want to bring this money back. I said, if you will refuse to pay now, your deposit will be taken away from you. This is what's written in your
Proposal,
form.
yeah.
It's there. They don't understand this. And it's getting very complicated when yeah, but legally, how am I protected legally? I said, you are protected legally when you read the contract, you understand everything. This you can do. I know some clients who bought few apartments in the building, which was like off plan for 1 million years, and the developer changed. They bought and they said, oh, now I want to resell it. I said, how can you resell it? You need to pay the installments and then you can resell it. And he said, I don't have money. I thought I will invest and then I will find people who want to buy it from me and I will sell it to them, but he cannot find the investors.
Flipping strategy.
Or doing the SPV, like we already
Right.
worked with you on this, the SPV and then find the investors. It doesn't work. So I suggest if you don't have money for this property, don't buy it. Or at least if you don't have money for 40% payment, don't buy it, okay? Buy something cheaper, because then it is a huge problem and there will be a big fine and there's a lot of money you are losing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, this is no go, okay? If you don't have a backup plan for this situation, don't go there. It's very complicated. And as you know, the courts takes years, it's very expensive. You don't know when you're gonna win or if you're gonna win or no, or if it's go to appeal. And it's like, I don't know, it's just circled in one, and then you're staying there with no money, with no property, it's blocked, you're paying to the lawyers, you're paying to the court, and why? Like, this is a very stressful situation for everyone, I think.
Yes. If there is one law regarding real estate, investment or rental or something that you would like to change, which one would that be?
I would like to, it's related to the rent, I would like to separate commercial and residential.
The legislation, you want to make
because
a
it's the
different
same.
law
How can you have the same legislation for commercial property and residential? Commercial is usually for a long term, and residential, well, depends. So I think they should be regulated differently.
Okay. Usually I ask this question in the beginning, but I will ask it in the end. Do you like your job?
I love my job.
Yeah?
Yeah, I enjoyed, like, so I think like I have the best job, even though I was questioning myself as a kid that I wanted to be an interior designer, but now I understand, no, I'm supposed to be a lawyer. I love it.
I agree with you. You're a very good lawyer, and I think it's amazing that you love your job. I love my job too. And by this, I will end this session. I don't want to, but time is over. Thank you very much for coming, and thanks for being here. And I think we will invite you back again when the new law come in separating commercial and residential.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, if that happens ever. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.
This is your dose from Monday Legal. See you next week.